How would you feel jumping into a licensed cab at Heathrow with a vital appointment somewhere in London imminent, only to find yourself caught up in heavy traffic on the inbound motorway with other licensed cabs streaming past you in the bus lane? Wouldn't you wonder why your driver wasn't using the bus lane too? And when the driver explained that the type of cab you were in was not allowed to use the bus lane, what then? What conclusions would you come to? And what type of cab would you use next time? Or would you do what Esther did?
You're not going to get me there on time, so why can't you just duck up the bus lane like I'm asking you? It's a piss take. What have we got here? Is this some kind of second-class, third-class system or what? And who makes these rules? I mean, something's got to be done here. Something has to be done. Things have to change. Driver or passenger.
Dear Sir or Madame, I called your office several days ago to order a cab to pick me up from Heathrow Airport yesterday afternoon. I made it clear to your telephonist that it was vital that the car was on time, as I had a pressing appointment in Barking. The traffic on the motorway was terrible. We crawled towards London at a snail's pace. If I hadn't got so much luggage, it would have been easier to take the underground. As time passed, I started to panic. I could not understand why my driver would not just duck up the bus lane and solve the problem. He said minicabs are not allowed in there, and he would get a fine of £120 if he did. He said he'd noticed minicabs were using the bus lanes lately, but couldn't understand how come. I must admit, I was very confused. I needed to get to Barking to supervise my mother's release from hospital and get her home safely after her operation. To cut a very long story short, we arrived in Barking far too late to pick up my mother. The staff were quite upset. They'd had to book her in for another night, which they clearly thought was my fault. Anyway, I had to take the day off today to go all the way back to Barking this morning to get my mother.
Esther's local cab firm boss receives her letter of complaint.
As I'm sitting here waiting for my brother to take me home, I decided now is the time to get on the computer and make a complaint. This whole thing has cost me a fortune. Yours, Miss Esther Martin.
It strikes a chord with him. For years, Adam Harvey and many like him have been doing everything possible to please a customer, and the law. But without the full cooperation of the transport authorities and due recognition when it comes to road traffic policy and parity with similar services, no matter what we do, the customer can never be completely satisfied with our services. And so Esther's complaint has been Adam's complaint for as long as he can remember.
Dear Esther, thank you for your letter and for your custom over many years. I must confess, I don't know what to say. I'm very sorry that you've had such a bad time of it. It's very difficult to answer all the points made in your letter, as most relate to bus lanes and matters beyond our control. However, I am concerned that our customers are having to put up with so much difficulty relating to road traffic policy. For this reason, I am sending a copy of your letter to the private hire board, who might be able to explain the situation with regard to bus lanes. I will be in touch. Yours sincerely, Adam Harvey, Director.
Bus lane access is a matter that has concerned us for as long as we can remember, and I'm horrified that Miss Martin's troubles and expense were all to no avail. There is no doubt that the exclusion of this industry from bus lanes continues to have a particularly negative impact on our customers, drivers and businesses. It might be of some consolation to Ms Martin that the board is intent upon making representations to the bus lane authorities within the very near future. To this end, I enclose a copy of our draft preparations and welcome any comments or points your clients might wish to make. Yours sincerely, Eddie Townsend, Chairman of the Private Hire Board.
Oh, yes, yes.
After all this time, the idea that the industry as a whole is coming together around the bus lanes issue is music to Adam Harvey's ears. We know it couldn't have happened before licensing came in. Then it was a question of whether our vehicles would congest the bus lanes, subsequently found extremely unlikely by a Transport for London survey. And then there was a vehicle identification issue. But 10 years down the line, a letter like this from the private hire board signals imminent rescue. And for a teetotaler like Adam, there's only one way to celebrate. Ever the optimists, Adam and his colleagues have stopped at nothing in their quest to bring a door-to-door transport option to local communities across London. To let people know there's a new kid on the block, one determined to set higher standards of service, safety and professionalism for the good of all.
Dear Mr. Harvey, I'm delighted that the private hire board are taking up this issue. I just wish the authorities understood our needs better. We are the electorate at the end of the day. As for the purpose of bus lanes, the heading in the private hire board document, I think